I like these questions. I like these. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I will be your host today, and we have Megan, Stephen, Hunter, Moose Can Fly 2, Juliet, part-time homesteader Stephanie, and Ebony. They are on the lineup for the Praxis 5572 Weekend Edition, but it's held in the Voodoo Garden this week because on the Praxis channel I'm giving away some electronics to people if they want to start up their own channel or to just film stuff around their house. So I'm busy doing that right now, so I can't do a Weekend Edition of it. My shirt is stuck. Okay, I feel better now. I feel like a hillbilly. I'm wearing pants that are like 4 sizes too big for me, and I don't know where I got these, but I put them on today, and I must have shrunk a foot because these things are way too long, and to roll them up, I feel like a hillbilly. But regardless of that, I'm going to continue. We have some questions, and I wanted to do them because I want to stay caught up on them. And I'm doing the electronics giveaway on the Praxis channel, so I thought I'd do these on the Voodoo Garden channel if you guys don't mind. And I'm going to start really quick with Megan. Megan says, "Hi Ray, how's your day?" That's an easy question. My day's doing just fine. Thanks, Megan. Do you bathe your birds, or do you just let them do their own thing? You know, when I first read this question, I thought it might have been a joke, but then I thought, no. It's probably a legitimate question because you see a lot of birds, if you have birds out in your yard, you notice after it rains, the birds will go down there, like the sparrows, blue jays, robins, and things like that. They'll go down and they'll start flitting around in the water puddles. That's actually how a lot of the smaller birds bathe. They will get into the water and they'll just kind of flit around and move their feathers and stuff, and it gets the water underneath their feathers and it keeps them clean and it keeps them cool. Whereas some other birds like grouse, pheasants, chickens, turkeys, and a few other birds, they don't bathe in water. They bathe in dust. And so my chickens and turkeys will not bathe in water. They don't do that kind of thing, and so I don't bathe them. I couldn't imagine me bringing a turkey into a tub and trying to give it a bath. That would be kind of funny. But what they do is they roll around in dust, and if there's no dust, I put diatomaceous earth in the chicken coop in a corner. And that's like a really white, it's a white fine dust. And if you have chickens and you have turkeys, you need to make sure you have a dirt area for them. What they'll do is they'll scratch it into like a depression, like a little hole, and they'll get down in there and they'll kick it up with their feet and they ruffle up their feathers and they do this weird kind of thing. It looks like they're dying, you know, like they're having a spasm, but the dirt goes up all over their body, the dust. And what it does is it gets down into their fine feathers and it chokes the pores of lice and mites and other things that are living on their body. This is their way of getting rid of insects and to keep themselves healthy. So if you ever see a bird doing that, don't try to stop them from doing that. That's actually a very good thing. But no, I don't bathe my birds. They take perfectly good care of themselves. Thank goodness. I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. Okay, next one. Stephen, what is your opinion on the topsy-turvy planter? I had to think about this one when I was printing it out because there are a lot of gardeners who use this product and they love this product. And I've seen this advertised for decades. Basically what a topsy-turvy is it's this product that they advertise on TV, and it's called the upside down planter. You hang it on your porch outside, and it's this bag, and you poke holes in the bottom and you plant a tomato or something in there and it grows upside down and it hangs. And the theory is that you don't have to stake up your tomatoes and grow them in a pot and have them blow over or anything. Your plants can just hang, and then you pick all the tomatoes off the plant as they hang. Well, you're asking my opinion, so I'm going to give you my opinion, and it's probably not going to be very popular with a lot of gardeners. I don't like it. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's a waste of space, and I also think it's kind of difficult on the plants because plants don't normally hang by their roots. Plants normally sit on their roots. Those are their feet. And you got a plant hanging upside down, and anybody that's ever grown a rather large tomato plant, you know those things weigh a lot of weight. You know, they got all the tomatoes on them. And then they're growing in the bag and they're hanging on by their roots. I just don't see that as a very, I don't know, a good way of growing things. But I will give it that some people like it. They're limited on space. They don't want to put pots all over their porch, and it works for them. So what I always say is, regardless of what I think about it, if it works for you, go with it. Whether it's organic, inorganic, container gardening, raised bed, you know, I've gone on with that spiel a lot. Whatever you like, go with it. Doesn't matter what I think. But you asked my opinion. I would never use it because I like growing in the ground. And growing upside down, it's kind of a weird fad type. It's a different way of doing things, but I really don't see the need. Okay? Next one, Hunter. I have a question. I'll bet you do. Mr. Ray, why don't you buy eggs from the store when you don't have eggs? That's a really good question. I don't think I've ever answered that one before. The reason I don't buy eggs, if my chickens aren't laying eggs, I go without eggs. I don't use eggs because I don't want to go to the store, and this is a weird thing I got to explain. It's actually it goes to the way I think about things. If my chickens are laying eggs, I eat a lot of eggs. When they're not laying eggs, I don't eat eggs at all. I just work around it. I don't go buying eggs because first of all, I don't like the flavor of store-bought eggs. They just have no flavor. It's kind of like eating generic white bread after you've eaten 7-grain wheat bread. I mean, I eat 7-grain bread, and it's really, really good for me. It's good in flavor. It's got texture to it. And then I go eat this white, a slice of white bread, like if I'm at my sister's or mom's house, and it just tastes like fluff. And there's nothing to it. I don't like it. And that's the same thing with store-bought eggs. The folks who run the egg production factories, they're out to make money. Okay, they're not out to be your friend. They're not out to be kind to chickens. They're out to make money. It's a business. So they have these bean counters and these people working for them who figure things out. How much food do I need to put into a chicken to get an egg? And they're not out to make these chickens fat and happy. They're out to get eggs out of these chickens. So the chickens are not, first of all, not treated well. Second of all, they're not fed the best of diets. They're just out to get eggs. They don't care if they're nutritious eggs. All they care is that they're eggs. So the eggs are kind of worthless to me, and I don't want to pay money for something that's worthless. So I just don't like them. I just don't like the way they do business. I don't like the product, and I don't like spending money on that product. But if you want eggs and you can't get eggs from a chicken, of course, yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with people buying them at the store. This is just my way of doing things. I don't like doing that. And what's really kind of weird is I buy store-bought meat. And there's a lot of people out there, mainly vegans and vegetarians, who go on and on and on about how if you can't kill it, don't eat it. Well, I don't go with that. I don't go with that. I could kill my animals and eat them, but I just choose not to. That's just my choice. Everything is a choice, whether you eat meat, don't eat meat, vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, omnivore, whatever it is, it's your choice. And one thing I advocate is you do have the freedom to choose how you want to live and what you want to eat. And people that impose their will and their opinions on you, I think that's a little distasteful, and it shows poorly on their character. If you don't like it, that's fine. Go with what you don't like, go with what you like. But when you start pushing that onto me or to other people, then I or the other people should have an issue with it and should basically tell you, stop that. That's not right. And if you have a problem with how animals are treated, go do something about it. But yelling at other people, I don't think that that's the way to go about doing things. Trying to convince them by example, by changing legislation, things like that, that's the way that I feel you should go about it, not bashing people upside the head. That's just my way of doing things. Okay, moose can fly too. My 2-year-old won't stop eating the green tomatoes on the vine. I'm assuming this is a human, not a dog or a bird. This last year I had 6 plants and only got about 9 tomatoes all season. Do you know of a type that ripens fast enough and produces enough to satisfy a psychotic tomato lover? Any help in this would be greatly appreciated. Wow, you have a wonderful problem. You have a very wonderful problem. I'm assuming this is your kid. You have a kid that loves tomatoes and more than likely is going to enjoy growing these things as your child grows up. That's a fantastic thing. Congratulations on that. As far as something that ripens your tomatoes fast enough to satisfy your little psychotic tomato eater, cherry tomatoes are fun. You can grow your beefsteak tomatoes and your slicing tomatoes separately. I would suggest growing a cherry tomato because they put out tomatoes that ripen as they put out more tomatoes that ripen long before beefsteak tomatoes and regular tomatoes are ripe. That way your child can have fun picking little tomatoes and your child will get them on a daily basis. When I was growing my Prax cherry outside, I had more tomatoes every day than I could possibly eat. So I would recommend that. Find a good indeterminate, not determinate. Determinate means it grows up, puts out all its fruit all at once, and that's it. Indeterminate does it as it grows until the plant eventually dies from frost or you yank it out by its roots. So get an indeterminate cherry tomato plant of your choice, grow that, and your kid's going to love you. And the kid's going to have something to eat and deflect its attention from the crop that you want to save. Okay, next one, Juliet. Hi, Juliet. I just received a peace lily. I've never grown this plant. Any good tips? Well, Juliet, you're in luck. I happen to have one. When I read this question, I thought, wow, I got to answer this one because I actually happen to have a plant. Yes, I have a peace lily, and I've grown these for many, many years. A peace lily, it has a Latin name which I'm really not interested in, but when I was in the business, when I had a foliage store in Denver, we called them spath. And there's a long name like spathiphyllum or something like that, I don't know. But we called them spath. Because if you go to a wholesale nursery and you call it by the long name, they know that you're new. If you call them spath, it makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. But we just call them peace lilies in common language. Peace lilies are a beautiful, easy to grow plant, and they don't have to be difficult. The soil mix that I use is, I believe it's half coir, which is cocoa peat, half worm castings, or you can use half potting soil, and then a heaping helping of vermiculite. Mix that in. What that's going to do is it's going to give you some nutrition, it's going to give you lightweight, good drainage. These plants like moisture, but they do not like to have their roots wet. And if you ever overwater one of these things, you'll see them slowly starting to wilt. And people water more and more, and they wilt more and more. And that's a common problem, is that they overwater these things. Because they look so green and tropical, you just want to give them extra water. It's just one of those things. You feel like giving them water. And don't do it. Don't be tempted into doing that. Let the plant dry out and then water it again. Also, do not over-fertilize these things. They go nuts if you over-fertilize them. You'll start seeing like brown tips, brown edges. They don't like a lot of fertilizer. Give them a mild organic fertilizer in your water every time that you water. And what type you use is totally up to you. But what I do is I mix up a little bit of mild organic fertilizer in my water bucket. And then when I water these things, they get just a little bit of food each time they get watered. And the organic fertilizer feeds the soil, which feeds the plant. And it doesn't change the pH of the soil or mess with it. And my peace lily seems to like that. And I would recommend anybody that's going to get a peace lily, start out small. And I got mine in these little 4-inch pots. And I transplanted it into a 6-inch pot. A peace lily will live in a pot this big, a 16-inch pot for its entire life. It never needs a pot any bigger than that. I know that's a big pot, but these plants can get big and beautiful and kind of spread out. They put up new ones all over the place as they grow. But it requires medium light. No direct sunlight is needed. Medium light, let it dry out, give it water. That's all you need. You don't need to do anything specific. It's going to put out flowers. I keep wanting to put it away, but I got more and more to say. It's going to keep wanting to put out flowers. That's fine. I don't think I've ever seen one put out seeds, but as soon as the flower starts to die, follow the flower down where it joins the leaf stem and snip it off, okay? Get rid of that, toss it away. It doesn't need that anymore, and it also helps keep it looking a lot nicer. But that's really all you need to know about growing these things. They're very, very simple to grow. All right, next one, part-time homesteader. Hello, part-time homesteader. Hello, Ray. I was just wondering, do you eat your turkey eggs? And if so, how similar in taste and size are they to chicken eggs? Do they lay eggs as often as chickens? I'm asking because we're thinking about getting 2 or 3 this spring. We already have 9 chickens, but I want to add some diversity to our flock. Another turkey person. Well, you better find a place that can only sell you a few turkeys, because a lot of the places online, you have to buy 15 turkeys in order to get the turkeys. That's why I have a turkey army. I didn't want 15 turkeys. But as far as turkey eggs, they are about twice the size of a chicken egg. The shell is generally twice as thick as a chicken egg. So when you crack an egg on the on a skillet to fry a chicken egg, it cracks relatively easy. Well, with the turkey egg, you gotta bang it a couple times and get it out there. But the nice thing about it is they taste exactly, to me, exactly like chicken eggs. Exactly like chicken eggs. Probably a little bit richer because they don't lay as prolifically as chickens. Whereas chickens, the standard type that people have on their farms, they'll generally lay about an egg a day. Okay, that's a good laying chicken. We'll lay an egg a day, and you'll get a lot of eggs out of them. Whereas turkeys, my turkeys, I have bronze turkeys, not the broad-breasted bronze. Don't get those, okay? Steer clear of broad-breasted bronze turkeys. There are two different kinds of bronze. There's regular bronze, which is the kind that I have. There's broad-breasted bronze. Those are those fat things that lumber around, and they're the ones that you buy for Thanksgiving. Those turkeys are not very healthy. They cannot breed naturally because their sternum is too short. They can't do what nature wants them to do. Keeping it family friendly here, they can't do it. They are artificially inseminated at the factories. Yeah, I hate to have that job. But get yourself some standard turkeys. Bronze are the best as far as I'm concerned. Or what are those tan ones? I forgot what the butter. Remember the turkey I used to have, butter? Butter was this golden turkey, and I forgot what it was called. I wish I could remember. I'll probably remember after I'm done filming. But they're very common, inquisitive as well. But bronze are very, very nice turkeys. They will lay about, I'd say, 2 eggs every 3 days. It's really kind of weird. And they'll only lay until they have about maybe a dozen or so in the nest, and then they stop and they want to incubate. But the weird thing about turkeys is they're not like chickens. They don't just lay right in front of you. I mean, a chicken will lay an egg wherever it happens to be. Chickens are very good about laying eggs. Turkeys like to hide their eggs. They still have a little bit of that natural stuff, and they'll want to go off. If you have them free ranging, you'll never find their nest. They go off into the weeds or into the woods, and they find a nest, and they lay a nest right underneath some branches or up by a tree. And then as they lay an egg, they cover it up with leaves. And so you don't find it until eventually you stumble on a turkey that's sitting on a nest. So when you do your coop, make sure you have out-of-the-way places for these turkeys to lay their eggs. But they're good. They don't lay as much as chickens or as often as chickens, but they're fun birds to have. They really are really fun birds. And let's see. I think that was it. Okay, well, that was easy. Next one, Stephanie. When will you have another question and answering episode? Now? Stephanie, and by the way, everybody else, you can post your questions anytime you want on any video you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take questions, and it saves me internet, because whenever somebody asks a question, I have to go to the video and answer the question. Well, when I go to the video is loading, and that burns up my internet. I'm on metered limited internet. Yeah, and so it's really hard for me to answer questions anymore. So what I do is I gather them all up and I put them on these weekend editions. This is why I do these weekend editions, so I can answer a whole bunch of questions all at once. You get more of a personal feel from this, and I save myself some internet. So post your question anytime, Stephanie or anybody else. Last one, Ebony119. How do the cats get into the coop? You know, I was wondering that for the longest time, because I would go in there and there's cats. And I thought, well, there's no way for them to get in. They were getting in through the fence. The fence has openings about this big, all right? And a cat can get basically anywhere its head can go. They have this weird slinky-like snake body. Cats are haunted little creatures. And they can squeeze through the smallest openings. Anybody that has a cat, you know this. They can damn near get underneath the door. And I actually had a cat that used to do that. That was kind of funny, Groucho. You go to the bathroom and you see this little paw going like that, and I would touch her paw and she would stop. And she, it was funny. But anyway, my cats, my outdoor cats, they just walk right through the fence like ghosts. And they walk through the fence and go into the chicken coop, and then they go and lay on the hay. That's how they do it. Well, I closed off the chicken coop recently because we had a couple blizzards. And I found the black cat in there. And I thought, how the heck did you get in there? Well, it turns out they go in through the side. This is an old chicken coop. There's a little piece of a board missing, and it's really a thin area. And it's between the inner wall and the outer wall, which is only the width of a 2x4. And this cat gets in there, this big black cat gets in there, turns 90 degrees, and crawls up between the boards like it takes a thief, and then gets in there and is in the coop. It's amazing. It's just amazing. That's how the possums get in there too, by the way. And I really don't mind the cats in there because they don't bother the chickens. The chickens just look at them, and the cats just look at the chickens, and they don't mind. They walk amongst the chickens. They don't eat my birds. It's wonderful. And the possums, I feed them, and so they're not eating the eggs, and they're not bothering my birds either. So everybody's living in a little bit of harmony because Ray feeds the animals. And the nice thing is the chickens are laying enough eggs to where I can actually scramble up eggs for all the other critters. So it's a win-win situation for me. Okay, that does it for the questions and answers. And I wanted to show you something. Where is it? Oh, this thing right here. I showed a picture of this on my Facebook. This is a Belladonna. This is Belladonna, and it's one of those poisonous plants that people wonder, why the heck are you growing that? I grow it because it's beautiful. I grew tobacco. Remember tobacco had those big leaves and stuff? Well, I'm done growing tobacco. I'm growing Belladonna because Belladonna has these really beautiful little flowers. It has nice black berries. I think it's a beautiful plant. People say to be very careful with this. I am very careful with this. If I touch it, I wash my hands, and if I'm really doing some heavy pruning, I got some latex gloves that I put on, and I get in there and I prune this thing. But it is a rather striking plant. Take a look at this. What do you think? Yeah, it grows really fast. It was growing straight up, and so what I did was, it's a little heavy. I pruned it. You know me, I like to snap the heads off of these little things. I think I need to see a psychiatrist. Ray keeps chopping the heads off of things. But what it did was, it's causing it to now grow out all of these side stems, and it's going to turn into a really big, beautiful bush filled with little yellowish white flowers all over the place. And it's going to just be grown indoors, not outdoors. I'm just growing it for fun. This is quite original. This I call a narangella. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it looks kind of like a tomato in a way, but look at the thorns on it. It is covered from head to toe. This plant does not want to be messed with, but it's going to grow really big, and I believe it puts out some really nice fruit. So I'm really kind of psyched up about growing this. Somebody sent me these seeds, and I looked it up, and I thought, oh yeah, this is bizarre. Ray has to grow this. But the last time I showed this was on Facebook, and it was just this itty bitty sprout coming out. But I wanted to show you the progress on this. It's doing really well. So whoever sent me these seeds, this is your plant, and it's having a really, really good time in the voodoo garden. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to show you. Check it out. My little yellow monster pepper plant is putting out little yellow monster peppers. But I'm not going to show off the peppers. What I'm showing is the plant. Look at how small these leaves are. I made a big bozo no-no boo-boo here in the voodoo garden a while back. And somehow my soil became alkaline. And I wasn't doing anything different. It must be something in my water. All of a sudden the plants started getting really funky. And I always get confused. I think I'm a little dyslexic. And here's another one down here. Its leaves were starting to get all strange as well. Yeah, that's really, but they're flowering like mad though. And here's another one. Look at the pruning I've done on this. It's kind of bonsai, isn't it? But with the weird pH change on this, I made a mistake. I get dyslexic when I'm thinking of alkaline and acidity. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but sometimes I transpose things. And I was thinking I needed to make it more acidic, and instead I made it more alkaline. I thought, okay, I need to get lime. Okay, so I got some garden lime, and I mixed it in with some water, and I watered these things, and I made the problem worse. Oh, it was awful. It was like an I Love Lucy episode here in the voodoo garden. It was horrible. So what I had to do was, over here, I started some new plants, the exact same plants from seed, and these I mixed in, I think it was 1 cup of white vinegar in with 5 gallons of water, and I was watering my plants, and that counteracted the acidity. But look, see? Big, healthy leaves. It's a little plant. This is a very young plant, and I pruned it. These are all new shoots coming off of it. And here's another one. And then there's another one back here. See, look at the size of those leaves. They're huge compared to the other pepper plants. And then this one is a mini pepper plant from Serbia, from a friend named Ivana. She sent me some seeds for that. And I'll be giving those away, by the way, some pepper seeds in a giveaway. It's going to be good. It's going to be in February. So stay tuned to the Praxis channel, and I will be giving those away. Those and some, I think, green pumpkin seeds. Yep. But yeah. I felt like such an idiot. Here I am with my little Barbie doll watering can. I hate this little watering can, but you know, I've had it for so many years, it's a part of my life, so I can't throw it away. I could buy myself a better watering can, but for some reason this thing just feels good in my hands, you know, so I keep it. But with my little Barbie doll watering can, I was walking around poisoning all my plants with my alkaline water. Yeah, it was pretty nasty, but I learned my lesson. I caught my mistake, and I'm totally fixing everything. And I lost 2 tomato plants. I lost the Rapunzel, and I lost the Boxcar Willie. Yeah, they curled up and died too. And I thought, wow, I got the hand of death going on here. But I planted new ones, and they're doing really good. So I'm going to grow those ones back up. I screw up just like everybody else. And like I tell everybody, the only thing that I do better than you is I've probably screwed up more times than you have. And that's why I'm such an expert, is I do things like that. You know, so if you ever make a mistake, don't feel bad. Ray's probably done it, and he's probably done it better than you. But anyway, the new plants, you can see the bigger leaves. And I looked online on quick ways to lower the acidity on plants, because yeah, I know the standard ways, but I needed a quick way. And my idea was to throw vinegar, a cup of vinegar in 5 gallons of water. And everywhere I looked on that, they said, oh no, don't do that. That's not the right way to do things. I did it anyway, and it worked like a charm. So yeah, you can look around for all the advice that you want, or you can do it the Ray way. When I do it right, when I do it right, I do it really right. So I just take 1 cup of vinegar, toss it in a 5-gallon bucket, fill it up with water, and there you have. It's not going to hurt anything because it's so mild, but it will slowly give your acid-loving plants the lower acidity that they require. And it works for me. It's working for my plants. The plants that had the smaller leaves, they actually looked a lot worse than that. And they are coming back. The flowers are coming out. The new leaves are looking a lot better. And I was just going to throw them away and start the new plants. But when I gave everybody this new mixture with the vinegar in it, the old plants started looking good. So now I have too many plants. I can't throw them away. So now I have 2 of each kind. So I think that's going to work out for me. Anyway, oops, sorry. A little close here. Sorry, Bella. Anyway, folks, if you have any questions concerning your indoor gardening, I'll try not to kill your plants, and I'll give you the best possible answer I can. So post your questions in the comment section below. And if you want the electronics, you still probably have about 1 more day, I think, after this video airs, 2 more days to post your comment over on the Praxis 55712 channel in the video comment section of that video. And I'll be deciding on Sunday, this coming up Sunday, who gets that. And then I go on to the seed giveaway. It's 3 different kinds of peppers that are imported, given to me by a friend in Serbia, Ivana. And she sent me bags of these seeds, and so I packaged them out like the free seed giveaway. 3 different kinds of peppers. I forgot what they are, but I've never heard of them before, and they're really, really cool. And she loves them, and she grew them and saved the seeds herself. And also one of them called a green Serbian pumpkin. And I kind of stashed a few for myself. So I'm going to be growing that myself this year outside in the garden, because I like pumpkins that have a lot of flesh inside. And this pumpkin, from what I understand, has a lot more flesh than the normal pumpkins that we grow in the United States. I'm only going to have, I think it was 20 or 30 packets of seeds, maybe a few more to give away. So I'm not going to have that many, but I'll let you know how you can get those coming up on a Praxis 55712 episode. How's that sound? Okay, I got to get going. I got to get out and shovel snow because I'm buried up to my knees. And thank you, everybody, for joining me in the Voodoo Garden. Until next week, this is Ray. I'm out of here. That was so freaking easy.